The security cameras at gold and silver pawn shop caught it all. FBI agents in tactical gear storming through the famous doors, stunned tourists evacuated mid-purchase, and Rick Harrison's face turning ashen as federal agents presented a search warrant. The empire that turned one man's trash is another man's treasure into television gold is now facing something even the savviest pawnbroker couldn't negotiate his way out of. Blood-stained Civil War artifacts with suspicious origins. Sacred Native American relics that disappeared from protected burial grounds. Ancient coins smuggled across international borders, and a hidden ledger that doesn't match the smiling transactions you've seen on TV. What started as America's favorite reality show about historical treasures has become ground zero for what federal investigators are calling the largest antiquities trafficking investigation of the decade. 3 generations of Harrisons built this empire on camera, deal by deal. Now as padlocks secure the doors of television's most famous pawn shop, insiders are coming forward with shocking revelations that will make you question every episode you've ever watched. That expert who authenticated the rare coin, he was an actor. That customer selling a family heirloom, hired and scripted. And those million-dollar deals that made television history? The darkest secrets are only beginning to surface. The stakes couldn't be higher for the Harrison family. If these allegations prove true, that items in their shop were acquired through illegal channels or lack proper documentation, the consequences would be devastating. The Pawn Stars brand, a multi-million-dollar enterprise spanning television, merchandise and tourism, could crumble overnight. Legal penalties could include massive fines, seizure of inventory, and potentially even criminal charges. For Rick Harrison and his family, this isn't just about their business, it's about their legacy. The American dream they've embodied for millions of viewers worldwide might be revealed as something much darker, built on questionable practices that have finally caught up with them. The troubles for the Harrison family began well before the current investigation. Once celebrated as reality TV royalty, the family has suffered through numerous personal tragedies and professional setbacks in recent years. Rick's son Corey, once a promising successor to the family business, has reportedly been estranged from the operation after numerous conflicts over management decisions. Meanwhile, internal family disputes have spilled into public view, with allegations of mismanagement and betrayal becoming increasingly common. The family suffered an unimaginable tragedy when Adam Harrison, Rick's son, passed away from a drug overdose in January 2025. This personal loss shattered the family just as financial irregularities were beginning to attract attention from authorities. As auditors examined the books, they discovered troubling patterns of cash flow that couldn't be easily explained by normal business operations. The investigation quickly expanded beyond finances when inventories revealed numerous high-value items with incomplete or missing documentation. The FBI's investigation into the gold and silver pawn shop has focused particularly on its vast inventory of historical artifacts. Federal agents who entered the premises were reportedly stunned by what they discovered. Among the thousands of items in the shop's inventory, investigators flagged dozens of artifacts with questionable provenance, the documented history of ownership that establishes an item's authenticity and legality. Of particular concern were several Civil War-era weapons and documents, Native American ceremonial objects, and antiquities from ancient civilizations that appeared to lack proper import documentation. Under federal and international law, many of these categories of items are heavily regulated or prohibited from private ownership, without extensive documentation. Agents were particularly troubled by a collection of Native American artifacts that experts believe may have been removed from protected burial sites, a federal crime under the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act. The investigation further revealed disturbing questions about the shop's authentication practices. For years, viewers have watched as Rick and his team consulted experts to verify the authenticity and value of unusual items. But investigators now believe that this careful vetting process may not have been applied consistently off-camera. Several items sold through the shop have later been identified as forgeries or modern reproductions passed off as historical artifacts. More troublingly, Some legitimate artifacts appear to have been acquired through questionable channels, possibly from looters who illegally excavated archaeological sites, or from international smuggling operations that traffic in cultural heritage items. The question investigators are now asking is whether the Harrisons were knowing participants in these illegal transactions or simply careless in their verification processes. In a shocking twist that has sent additional shockwaves through the antiques world, the investigation into Pawn Stars has intersected with another mysterious case involving Frank Fritz, former co-host of American Pickers. Fritz, who disappeared under mysterious circumstances in early 2025, left behind a trove of evidence that has proven invaluable to investigators. When FBI agents searched Fritz's Iowa property in March 2025, they discovered a hidden room beneath his floorboards, containing meticulously organized documentation of what appears to be a vast underground network of illegal antiquities dealers. Fritz had been conducting his own investigation for years, documenting suspicious transactions, photographing stolen artifacts, and connecting the dots between seemingly unrelated crimes across the Midwest. His disappearance now takes on a more ominous tone. Was he silenced because he knew too much? The documents recovered from Fritz's home point to a troubling possibility that the American antiques market has been infiltrated by organized criminal networks specializing in the theft and illegal sale of cultural artifacts. These networks allegedly operate through legitimate-appearing businesses, using the complexity of the antiques market to launder stolen goods. Fritz's documentation suggests that certain high-profile dealers may have unwittingly, or perhaps knowingly, participated in this network by purchasing items without thoroughly investigating their origins. While the FBI has not officially connected Gold and Silver Pawn to Fritz's investigation, sources close to the case indicate that several transactions documented in Fritz's records involve items that later appeared on Pawn Stars. This connection has expanded the scope of the investigation dramatically, turning what might have been a case of sloppy record-keeping into a potential criminal conspiracy. The fallout from these investigations has already begun to impact the Pawn Stars empire. Production of new episodes has been suspended indefinitely as the legal situation unfolds. The Las Vegas shop, once a bustling tourist attraction drawing thousands of visitors daily, has seen attendance plummet as news of the investigation spreads. The Harrison family's carefully cultivated image as honest brokers of history and Americana now faces its greatest challenge. Rick Harrison has maintained a public silence on the specifics of the investigation, issuing only a brief statement through his attorney expressing cooperation with authorities and confidence that any misunderstandings will be resolved. Behind the scenes, however, sources report that the family is frantically working to address the documentation issues, hiring a team of experts to authenticate their inventory and establish legitimate proof for questioned items. For the antiques industry as a whole, the Pawn Stars investigation represents a potential watershed moment. The high-profile nature of the case has brought unprecedented attention to the murky world of antiquities trading and highlighted the ease with which cultural heritage items can enter the market without proper documentation. Industry experts are calling for stricter self-regulation and enhanced verification processes to prevent illegal items from entering the legitimate market. Museums and academic institutions have also joined the conversation, advocating for greater transparency in private collecting and stronger penalties for trafficking in cultural artifacts. The investigation may ultimately lead to significant reforms in how antiques are bought, sold, and authenticated nationwide. Despite these challenges, some industry insiders believe the Harrison family may yet find a path to redemption. The family has built significant goodwill over the years, and their expertise in historical items remains highly regarded even as their business practices come under scrutiny. If they can demonstrate that any violations were unintentional, the result of rapid growth outpacing proper inventory controls rather than deliberate wrongdoing, they may be able to rebuild trust with both authorities and the public. Rick Harrison's cooperation with investigators could prove crucial in this regard, potentially allowing the family to position themselves as advocates for reform rather than examples of misconduct. The coming months will be critical as the investigation continues and more details emerge about the true extent of any improprieties. The unfolding scandal surrounding Pawn Stars serves as a powerful reminder that even the most carefully constructed public images can conceal complex realities. The show that taught millions of Americans about history through the stories behind everyday objects now finds itself making a different kind of history, as a cautionary tale about the responsibilities that come with dealing in cultural artifacts. As viewers, we've been invited into the world of Pawn Stars, entertained by the colorful personalities and fascinating items that pass through the shop's doors. Now we're being asked to reconsider everything we thought we knew about that world. Was the knowledge and integrity we admired genuine, or simply a carefully crafted television persona? Were the treasures that captivated us legally and ethically acquired, or part of a shadowy trade in looted heritage? As this investigation continues to unfold, one thing remains clear: the Pawn Stars story is far from over. What began as a simple family business has grown into a cultural phenomenon, and now stands at a crossroads that will determine not just the future of the Harrison family, but potentially reshape the entire antiques industry. The truth, whether exonerating or damning, will eventually emerge from the careful work of investigators piecing together the real story behind the cameras. For those who have followed the Pawn Stars journey from the beginning, the final chapter may be the most compelling yet. The question now is whether it ends with redemption or ruin for a family that taught America to value its history. Remember, in the world of antiques, every object tells a story. Now it's time to discover the real story behind Pawn Stars. If you found this investigation shocking, please subscribe to our channel for future updates on this developing story. The truth behind your favorite reality shows may be stranger and darker than fiction.